then it can also be used for furniture, woodcraft, and musical instruments. Right? So it could be used for these reasons. So that is why red sandals become important. Now moving on to the next article. A telecom double dip attempt that threatens net neutrality. Now what is your net neutrality? In July this year, the TRAI, that is the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, at the request of the government, invited a comprehensive consultation on the need and possible mechanism for regulation of over-the-top services. It seems to have stood up on its nest. For more than a decade now, telecom companies have seen revenue from traditional streams such as voice calls, short message services, and come under pressure as competing with OTT services are often free. Now, at the same time, they have had to invest heavily in upgrading their infrastructure to handle increased data traffic without necessarily seeing an equivalent rise in revenue. It is also their limit that OTT services are not subject to the same level of taxation and licensing fees, leading to an unlevel playing field. So, the first cause that they are saying is that the OTT services are not subject to same level of taxation and licensing fees. On the flip side, the use of OTT service has led to a surge in data consumption, which is a growing revenue stream for telecom companies. Now, the use of OTT services has also led to what? Now, there is immense of data consumption that is happening by these services. And because the internet data is being used for these OTT services, so they have become what? They have become one of the important source for what? Data consumption, or you can say revenue generation. And this is for telecom companies. Now, flawed arguments that affects net neutrality. The OTT consultation has renewed the clamor from the telecom companies that content providers such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hotstar be asked to share in cost of bandwidth. They argue that streaming platforms are free riders benefiting from the infrastructure built and maintained by the telecom company. So, what they want to say is that all the infrastructure has been built by who? The telecom companies, and these OTT service platforms are just doing what? They are accruing benefit from these platforms. However, this argument is fundamentally flawed and sets a dangerous precedent that undermines the principle of net neutrality. Telecom companies do not own the internet, rather, they provide access to it. See, what is happening is that if you want to operate any of the OTT services, So when you operate these OTT service, you require what? A platform. And this platform is provided by who? The telecom companies. Now, what else? Now, consumers pay the telecoms for access service by purchasing data plans. By offering services that consumer desire, OTT platforms generate demand for internet access. They can also pay for content delivery network to create pathways that substantially augment the capacity of the internet to deliver their content. Telecom companies capitalize on this demand by providing connectivity to the internet and charging subscribers for it. If they fail to cover cost, telecom companies are at liberty to increase their prices, which should go towards maintaining and upgrading their infrastructure. Now, one of the requirements for the operation of fair market is that the cost and benefits of a transaction are fully accounted for in exchange of the prices. Therefore, any attempt to seek cross subsidies instead of fully accounting for the cost could warrant scrutiny from the Competition Commission. That means there is a Competition Commission that is being set, that is there. So this Competition Commission has what? Now this Competition Commission has what? Cross subsidies instead of fully accounting for the cost could warrant scrutiny from the Competition Commission. That means there would be a scrutiny that would be done by who? The Competition Commission. Now, OTT services can compete in their own market on the basis of variety and quality of content, the quality of streaming, such as support for HD or better resolution or 5.1 surround sound, ease in navigation, discovery of contents, availability on multiple services. The consumers pay the price for these benefits as compared to the alternatives. That means, firstly, the competition that OTT services will be having is based on what? Firstly, all these OTT service platforms. Now, this OTT service platform is providing you what? A content. And this content is competitive. Right? And is if this content is competitive, for example, you have this Amazon Prime, you have this Disney Plus, Hotstar, etc. So the content that are provided in this platform, the content depends upon these platforms, these OTT services. What are they providing? Other than that, what else? What else that makes this competition more? That is the kind of HD quality video, the kind of sound system, etc. Fine. Now, similarly, in the marketplace for internet access, the consumers are free to choose a provider that offers them the highest bandwidth, data volume, reliability at an affordable price. Now, these are distinct markets because services from one are not substitutable for services in the other. Therefore, it is logical to maintain a separation of cost between these two markets. Now, the author is of the opinion that they need to make a what? Distinct markets. Now, the attempts of telecoms to double dip by charging both consumers and content providers is not only avaricious but also undermines net neutrality. To better comprehend the fallacy in the telecoms demand, let us employ an analogy. So, how is this happening? Imagine a toll plaza where specific brands or model of vehicles are charged an additional tax directly payable by the manufacturer because they make popular vehicles that tend to cause congestions. If owners of all vehicles pay the regular toll, the more popular vehicle as a category contribute a proportionally higher amount. There is no need for their manufacturers to contribute extra. On the other hand, an additional toll directly collected from the manufacturers would push up the price of popular cars for their buyers, making them less attractive. See, what they are saying is that if you have this, just consider yourself in a toll plaza. Now, in the toll plaza, what is happening is that you are paying a what toll tax. So, what they are saying is that if there would there would be this that this specific brand vehicle or this this specific brand model of the vehicle. Now, this vehicle should be charged. What is going to happen? Now, if this is going to happen, that means this supposedly a toll tax is there, and the toll tax says that this vehicle is going to be taxed an additional tax. Now, based on that, what is going to happen? This makes a popular vehicle that tend to cause congestion. So, the manufacturer is going to actually pay the tax for it. Now, if owners of all vehicles pay the regular toll, the more popular vehicle as a category contribute a proportionally higher amount. That means, see, what is going to happen is if firstly, what is going to happen? The manufacturer is going to pay the tax. Then the one who is owning the vehicle is going to pay the tax. Now, based on this, what is going to happen? There will be a higher proportionate amount of specific brand. Now, if this is going to happen, what is the author is saying? It's better not to make the manufacturer pay the tax. There is no need for the manufacturers to contribute extra. On the other hand, an additional toll directly collected from the manufacturer would push up the price of popular cars for their buyers, making them less attractive. Now, if the manufacturer is not going to pay the tax at the toll, what is going to happen? This tax shall be paid by the customer, and if this tax is paid by the customer, all in all, what is going to happen? This is going to stop, or this is going to lessen the attractivity of the vehicles for the consumer. If there's a manufacturing tax that needs to be paid, and then there's a consumer tax that is need to be paid, what is going to happen is that if the manufacturer tax is reduced or is removed, this manufacturer tax is going to be paid by the consumer. And if this is going to be paid by the consumer, what is going to happen is that the attractivity of the vehicle will be reduced. Fine. Likewise, if OTT platforms were to acquiesce to the demand of the telecalls, the incurred cost would trickle down to the subscriber, either through increased subscription fees or degraded service quality for those platforms unwilling or unable to pay the toll. So this is what they are saying: कि if OTT platform were to accuse to the demands of the telecalls, the incurred cost would trickle down to the subscribers. That means if there is an extra charge, that means you have one side your telecom company, you can say they are the internet service providers, and the other side you have what, your OTT platforms. Now, if extra charge is being provided by the OTT platform, or it is said by the telecom companies to the OTT platform people that you have to pay the extra charge for the service that is being provided by the telecom companies, what is going to happen? Now, these people, that is the OTT platform owners or the people, are going to get or going to push the burden of the tax or the money or anything onto the customer. And if they are going to do the Okay, so if they are going to do what, the service, the payment that is being paid by the OTT platform to the telecom service providers or to the telecom company. Now, what is going to happen? The extra charge is going to be burdened onto the users or to the customers. Now, when this is going to happen, what is going to happen? This is going to burden the customers with the extra charge, and ultimately, what is going to happen is that either it is going to do what, detrimental to consumers who have come to rely on OTT services for entertainment, education, and professional pursuits. That means if this extra charge is being, burdened onto the consumers or to the customers, what is going to happen is, all in all, this is going to lead to what? This is going to be detrimental to the consumer. Fine. So, other than that, what else is going to happen? Now, the principle. Net neutrality is the principle that internet access providers must treat all traffic originating from and terminating to the internet in the same way. The idea has been developed over time, but its modern articulation may be largely credited to the Columbia Law School professor Tim Yu, who coined the term net neutrality in a 2003 paper that is titled Network Neutrality Broadband Discrimination. Now, this paper is talking about what? Here, who proposed the concept of net neutrality to promote an even playing field on internet, ensuring that all data is treated equally without discrimination by internet service providers. Now, net neutrality draws from earlier notions and principles concerning common carriage, which posits that all services or to that service to all customers must be provided on a non-discriminatory basis. The application of these principles to the modern internet with its unique technical and economic characteristics required fresh legal and policy analysis. The principle that has been examined by the economist, from the perspective of market competition, consumer welfare, and innovation by legal experts that govern net neutrality and how these laws impact the rights and obligations of the internet service providers. Now, what else is going to happen in the case of net neutrality? Now, what is the basis of tariff regulation? So, net neutrality formed the basis of tariff regulation on prohibition of discriminatory tariffs for data services brought out on February 8. The regulator's action forced the withdrawal of Facebook's free basic platform and some other offerings in India. Now, these steps taken by TARAI were noted elsewhere in the world. The body of European regulator for electronics communication, that is BEREC, and TARAI adopted a joint statements for an open internet. So, a joint statement of BEREC and TARAI. And this joint statement is about having what? Open internet. Fine. The two organizations agreed through this memorandum of understanding to cooperate in developing technological and policy initiatives for net neutrality. Many other countries have also adopted net neutrality thereafter. It is imperative for all stakeholders, including policymakers, to recognize the long-term ramification of accusing of short-sighted demands of telecom companies. That means the telecom service providers are asking for what? That means they are the one who are providing the platform, and when they are providing the platform they should be provided charged with it. Upholding the principles of net neutrality is not merely about preserving the ethos of an open internet, but is also intrinsic to fostering a conducive environment for innovation, competition, consumer welfare, especially countries such as India, where internet is going to be the carrier of digital public infrastructure. That means here your telecom companies become very important. Why? Because they are going to be what act as a carrier of digital public infrastructure. Fine. Now let's discuss something about net neutrality so that the concept of net neutrality becomes easy to understand. See, now what is happening is that if you see, we have these multiple telecom companies, and what are those multiple telecom companies in India? If you go with these telecom companies, you have okay. Now in India, we have some major telecom operators. Now these telecom operators are, continuing.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, now if you see, we have these major telecom companies operating in India. Now, when these major telecom companies are operating in India, what is happening is that these telecom operators are continuously demanding what the OTT service or OTT service platforms to pay a share to these companies. And why they are asking for these companies to pay a share? Because they feel that they are the one who have provided what they have provided a platform, or you can say a base, so that these OTT platforms could actually provide what the content. Fine. Now, based on this, what is happening? What are the arguments that are coming? So the telecom operators have been demanding this, a payment or a share for it. So these operators are of the opinion that they should be given a usage fees, and this usage fees is coming from these content providers. That means these this usage fees should be given to these telecom companies, and this should be coming from these OTT platform companies. Why? Because they are the one who are providing them the base so that they could deliver their content. Now the point is that what is net neutrality, and why is this net neutrality concept coming over here? So you see, net neutrality. Now, net neutrality is a principle, and what kind of principle it is? It is an all. It is a principle that all internet traffic should be treated equally, and there shouldn't be any discrimination. That means there should be no discrimination. There should be no preference to any particular website, service, or application. Fine. Other than that, net neutrality ensures what? That there should be an equal access to information on internet. Fine. Now, is it possible that without net neutrality, the internet services provider could potentially use their market for, to these website providers, to these services, etc. So, is net neutrality anyway important, or who are the people who are related to this net neutrality thing? So, all those people who are related with this net neutrality, or those people who are somewhere or other involved in this stake, is firstly your consumers, then secondly it is your TSPs, that is your, or you can say ISPs. Now TSPs are your telecom service providers, or you can say internet service providers, both are the same things. And then you have these OTT service providers. Now the point comes that if in case there is no net neutrality, how is how things are going to operate? So firstly, see, if there is no net neutrality, there will be a lot of internet traffic that is going to be there. Why? Because everyone wants to get what? Extra benefits. And from this extra benefits, what is going to happen? This would bring what? This would give the powers to the companies like YouTube, for that matter, Netflix. As these services, or as these platforms, that means YouTube, Netflix, etc., these services are being provided at a broader level, so they will give what? They consume high, or you can say too much of more bandwidth. Fine. If net neutrality is not there, what is going to happen? This is going to, discourage the other players to come into the market. So innovation will be hampered in many ways. Fine. So this is important. This much you should know about net neutrality. Let's move on to the next one. India Bhutan to discuss new routes of regional connectivity. Now, India and Bhutan agreed to discuss new routes of regional connectivity and upgrade border and immigration posts to support Bhutan's fifth king. Other than that, what they are saying is that while no mention was made of India's overhanging concern over Bhutan's border delimitation agreement process, apart from a decision to go ahead with the final survey for the 58-kilometer cross border rail link between Jalfu and the Kokrajhar in Assam to be built by India. The two sides agreed to explore a second rail link for about 18 kilometers. So one is your 58-kilometer rail link, second is your 18-kilometer. And this 18-kilometer is coming where? In between your Samtis in Bhutan and Banarhat in West Bengal. So 18-kilometer is coming between in Bhutan and Banarhat in West Bengal. Now, India also agreed to allow Bhutanese trade items to be carried further on from Haldibari in West Bengal to Chilahati in Bangladesh. That means the trade related to certain commodities also done. The rail connectivity could, in the future, assist air connectivity for Indians in the northeast, as well as Bhutan plans to build an international airport. So one is your 18 kilometer, one is your 58 kilometer, one is second is your 18 kilometer, third is your trade related commodities, and fourth is your international airport. Now, this is airport at Jelefu as a part of these larger span district special economic zone, a new initiative expected to be announced by the Bhutanese king. Now, the Bhutanese king shared valuable perspective and insights on ongoing reforms process under the way in Bhutan. Other than that, what the Prime Minister of India has reaffirmed, abiding commitment to its unique ties of friendship and cooperation with Bhutan, and reiterated and continued the full support to the socio-economic development in Bhutan based on the priorities of royal government and as per the vision of His Majesty. Now, development assistance, the Bhutanese king also thanked the government for its development assistance for Bhutan's 12th five-year plan. Now, what is the 12th five-year plan? India reiterated its commitment to support the new 13th five-year plan as well. Apart from the go-ahead for the two short-distance cross-border rail link projects, India and Bhutan agreed to designate Naranga Samdrup Jonghak border crossing between Assam and Bhutan's less developed southeast district as an immigration checkpost, so as to allow the third country nationals to enter and exit as well for enhancing connectivity, promoting tourism, etc. In particular, the two sides agreed to strengthen trade infrastructure with the upgrade of an existing land custom stations at Dadgiri, Assam, to a modernized integrated checkpost. So what you see is they are talking about the integrated checkpost. They are talking about the railings. They are talking about trade of commodities. Now, easing travel between the two countries and allowing further exchange to Bangladesh is expected to help raise Bhutanese opportunities for trade and travel and bring in much needed tourism revenues for the neighboring country. Bhutan's economy, which has been hit by the COVID pandemic and after effects of a very strict lockdown in the country, is expecting to grow by a modest 4.3% lower than the sub-regional average and is expected to face long-term impact due to net out migration by its youth, now who are seeking education and jobs in other countries, low forex reserves and a major public debt with an estimated of 125% government debt to with just a minute. Okay, with an estimated 125% government debt to GDP ratio in 2022, largely made up of debt to India's, are further adding to Bhutan's worries. The Bhutanese king's plans for Jelfu and the special economic zone, which he had first discussed with the prime minister, is targeted and increasing opportunities for work and tourism in Bhutan. Okay, so if you see, all in all, there are multiple projects where India is supporting Bhutan so as to bring development in the Bhutanese region. And this shall help in what? Helping the ties of India and Bhutan to strengthen as well. Fine. Other than that, there's a very beautiful article over here also. Now, how the personal data of 815 million Indians got breached. So, on October 15, Resecurity, an American cybersecurity company, said that personally identifiable information of 815 million Indian citizens, including the Aadhaar numbers and passport details, were being sold on the dark web. You should know about the dark webs. Now, threat actors were willing to sell the data for $80,000, the company said in a blog post. It further said that the data on sale was found to be valid. The threat actors selling the data claimed it was sourced from the ICMR, which has been subjected to numerous cyber attack attempts, with 6,000 incidents being reported last year alone. Now, what is the nature of personally identifiable information, or what do you consider, or how do you consider that this is personally identifiable information? So now, what is personally identifiable information? Now, personally identifiable information, or PII, is information that, when used alone or with other relevant data, can identify an individual. PII may be direct identifiers like passport information, or quasi-identifiers that can be combined with other information to successfully recognize an individual. Now, the data being sold on dark web included one's Aadhaar number, unique 12-digit individual identification number by UIDAI. Now, on behalf of the Indian government, now this data was being sold by a threat actor going by the name of PWN 0001. Now, if you see, what is going to happen is that the entire information of the Indians are linked through what? Through your Aadhaar data. Now, this Aadhaar data becomes very important. Why? Because this Aadhaar data has been linked to all of your accounts, IDs, etc. Now, how did such actors gain access to sensitive data? Now, threat actors selling stolen data on the dark web declined to specify how they obtained the data, without which an effort to identify the source of the data leak would be speculated. Now, Lucius, the second threat actor found selling data online, claimed to have access to a 1.8 terabyte data leak impacting an unmanned India's internal law enforcement agency. However, the claim is yet to be authenticated. Now, India's junior IT minister said that the country's computer emergency response team, that is your certain, uh, is investigating reports of data leak, and that the government is still working on moving massive amounts of data, including legacy data collected over the past decades, to a safe storage. However, he did not confirm or comment on the size of the alleged leak. Data samples observed by the researchers contain multiple references to UIDAI and Aadhaar cards as well as voter ID card. It is also possible that threat actors successfully breached a third party aggregating these details. Now, how secured is our PII data? Now, while the government of India has often denied allegations of biometric data leak from Aadhaar in the past, the junior IT minister said the government's ecosystem will take time to transition to a bulletproof setup. That means the data the Indian government is having, or the data of the Indians regarding your Aadhaar card, your PAN number, etc., is not very safe. Why? Because the minister itself is saying that it requires a bulletproof setup, one which manages data and keeps it in a safe and responsible manner. He further said that the Aadhaar data leaks were also reported in 2018, 19, 2022, with three instances of large-scale leaks being reported, including one in which farmers' data stored on PM Kisan website was made available on the dark web. So there is one data that we are talking about is your Aadhaar data. The next data that we are talking about is your PM Kisan data. Now, earlier this year, reports emerged that a bot on the messaging platform Telegram was returning personal data of Indian citizens who registered with the COVID-19 vaccine intelligence network, that means COVID portal. So, the data that was there in the COVID portal is also was also under the threat. Now, earlier this year, okay, so this was now at the time, the health ministry denied reports of a data breach and said that allegations were mischievous in nature and that certain was reviewing the existing security infrastructure of the portal. However, UIDAI on its website says all Aadhaar holders' data is safe and secure in the Central Identity Data Repository, that is CIDR. Now, they are saying that all the data is under where is in Central Identity Data Repository of UIDI, and that they have never have been breached in all its years of existing. Now, it further adds that UIDI uses advanced security technologies to keep data safe and keep upgrading them to meet emerging security threat and challenges. Now, what are the threats arising from the leaked information? Now, India, being one of the fastest growing economies of the world, ranked fourth globally in all malware detection in the first half of 2023, according to a survey from Security. A separate vendor survey of 200 Indian IT decision makers published in September produced similar findings, where 45% of the Indian businesses said they experienced more than a 50% rise in disruptive cyber attacks like last year. So, again, if there are cyber attacks coming, that means what is happening is these cyber attacks somewhere want to have the access of the data. Now, the report also found that 67% of the Indian governments and essential service organizations experienced over 50% increase in disruptive cyber attacks. The unrest in West Asia and increase in attacks by threat actors capitalizing on the chaos exposed personally identifiable data, significantly increasing the risk of digital identity theft. So, if these personal identifiable data are there, then this is going to lead to what? Risk of digital identity theft. Now, threat actors leverage stolen identity information to commit online banking thefts, tax frauds, and Other cyber-related financial crimes, a significant spike in incidents involving Aadhaar IDs and their leakage on underground cybercriminal forums by threat actors are looking to harm Indian nationals and residents. B-Security said in a blog post. Now, what else? Now, what can users do to safeguard their personal information? So, users should try to ascertain if their information was leaked in the data leak. Users should also be alert and approach emails for unknown sources with caution, as stolen information may be used to target users in phishing campaigns. So, if you see, they are saying that there could be a lot of phishing campaigns coming, and these phishing campaigns is going to do what? They are going to target your mail IDs, email IDs. So what you can do is you need to be very cautious. Now it is also advised to change the existing user IDs and passwords to ensure that stolen data cannot be used for launching a brute force attack. Now, users should also implement two-factor authentication for all their accounts and inform the concerned authorities in case they notice any auspicious activity in their online accounts. So, what is the other suggesting that if there is any kind of illegal, if there's any kind of illegal act that is being, encountered, so what you need to do is you need to authenticate it, and if you find the activity is suspicious, what you need to do is you need to notice it and inform it in the respective time period. Fine. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. No A is B. कोई भी A B नहीं है, कोई भी A B नहीं है. अब देखो कोई भी A B नहीं है, यहाँ तो सही है, पर यहाँ क्या हो गई? गलत हो गई. और जहाँ आपके तो आंसर बढ़ जाए, तो आपका क्या होता है आंसर मेरा? कैंडिडेट. मुझे यही करना है और जाहिर सी बात है, मैंने अभी बताया था आपको कि सम का कोऑर्डिनेट पार्ट क्या है. नो, अगर सम के बारे में मैं नहीं जानता तो बेटा नो के बारे में है. Okay, so government expands Bharat Atta sale to curb rising prices. Now, with wheat flour atta becoming costly around the festive season, the Union Food and Consumer Affairs Ministry released more stocks of Bharat brand atta through 100 mobile vans and the outlets of Kendriya Bhattar, National Cooperative Consumer Federation of India Limited and National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited, that is NAFED. Bharat Atta will be available at rupees 27 kg. The national average price of flour would be, or as on Monday, was 35 rupees 35. The launch of retail sale of Bharat Atta will increase supplies in the market at affordable rates and will help in continued moderation of prices of this important food item. So, Union Food Minister has flagged of this sale. So what you need to know over here is okay. Other than that, what else? Bharat Atta is being done. Then Quad's IPMDA initiative proof of our commitment to free Indo-Pacific. Okay, so the Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness Initiative announced by the Quad grouping is a testament to the commitment to free, open, inclusive and rules-based Indo-Pacific Navy Chief Admiral. Apart from that, what he said was that the building networks and partnership will be instrumental in ensuring the security and stability of the Indian Ocean regions. Now, on force modernization, he said Navy is on track to have this much to these ships. The initiative seeks to establish comprehensive system for monitoring and securing maritime activities in the Indo-Pacific, ensuring safety of critical sea lines and promoting cooperation among like-minded nations in the region. Now, what else? The IPMDA, that means the initiative of this maritime domain awareness, was an announced by the Quad grouping comprising India, Australia, Japan, and US at the Tokyo summit to track what dark shipping and build a faster, wider, and more accurate maritime picture of near real-time activities in partners waters, integrating three critical regions in the Indo-Pacific region. What is that? One is your Pacific Island, other is your Southeast Asia, and the next one is your Indian Ocean region. Now, 66 out of 68 ships under construction are being built at Indian shipyards. Now, our aim is for the Navy to be fully Atmanirbhar by 2047. To a question on the lessons from the recent events, what have they said? That these crises, now, which are the crises, have also highlighted that the importance of maintaining a versatile naval force that can secure our maritime interest, including energy and trade routes as well as supply chain vulnerabilities on the biennial GMCs. Now, what is that? Said it had emerged as a critical platform for what fostering cooperation and addressing maritime security challenges in Indian Ocean region. Establishment of robust mechanisms for what for information sharing, such as these mechanisms is going to help you for information sharing, such as through the Indian Navy Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region located at Gurugram. Now, sharing of intelligence and information also contributed to enhanced maritime domain awareness. This has not only improved maritime security but also allowed for better management of maritime resources and environmental protection. Now, he said the center would seek to strengthen. He said that the center would seek to strengthen collaborative partnership with like-minded nations and organizations. These partnerships will involve sharing best practices and conducting what joint exercises and fostering a sense of collective responsibility. That means for having a free Indo-Pacific region, and this Indo-Pacific region will help in having what free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. Fine. Other than that, since it's there in news that the person is CIC, so we need to do about CIC as well. We need to know about CIC. And in CIC, what you need to know that how the appointment is happening, which body it is, whether it is a constitutional body or it's a non-constitutional body. Okay. So for this, you require to know the static portion of CIC, Chief of Information Commissioner. Okay, so this much for today. Thank you so much.